Everybody Hates Rand is a Wheel of Time podcast that will contain spoilers for all 14 books. So if you're anti-spoiler, stop this, read all 14 books, and come back. We'll be here, waiting.
Our title is a joke and is meant to be taken as such. Everybody in this context refers to us and our cats. You are free to feel however you want about Rand. He's a fictional character. Please don't DM us.
The world is a mess, Dark One stretching out his hand. The dragon's reborn, the fire's been fanned, but everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand.
Sorry, you can hear Ed crunching in the background, if you can hear
I guess
that.
we could take it away from him.
No, he's so happy. It's not ASMR, it's just... What does ASMR stand for?
I was literally just thinking it's audio. We have to Google it.
Audio stimulation?
Audio stimulation, sexy radio.
Asser.
Yeah, sorry. That was my dyslexia really popping off.
Audio stimulation, Mmsexy. Radio.
An autonomous sensory meridian response.
That's nowhere near as fun as Mmsexy.
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 It's a tingling sensation that usually begins on the scalp, so I think it's...
Well, I doubt you'll get Mmsexy tingling from Ed chewing his food louder than it's physically possible.
He has to grasp it with his old man front teeth and then launch it to the back because he's got very few teeth.
Have we also told you guys how sometimes when we're trying to get Ed to eat, he will fake eat?
It's actually...
In order to trick us. As though he doesn't crunch so loudly when he actually does eat. It makes me wonder if Ed is a little deaf.
Did you tell Dr. B about the fake eating?
No, I
yesterday?
should have. I was trying to think of so many insane things.
Dr. B is our vet.
Dr. B is our vet who has to put up with Ed's
Tomfoolery.
crimes.
And Tybalt. But she sees Tybalt way less often. He
Yeah,
is.
for real.
Tybalt is healthy of body, if not of mind.
Yeah, she was like, how's Tybalt? And I was like, I need to be honest with you, Dr. B. He's insane.
Yeah.
He's lost the plot.
Yeah. He has lost the plot, 100%.
Nothing going on between those ears. Anyway, enough about our cats. Welcome to Everybody Hates Rand, your friendly neighborhood Wheel of Time podcast. I'm Emily Jushaw.
And I am Sally Goodger.
And once again, status quo these days, just bouncing around a whole lot, and it's easiest for me to go in order more or less, so...
Sure.
We start with an egg point of view, where we get our first glimpse of the front lines in Candor. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's not yet. First we have Egg going to a command tent to visit Bryn, Gareth Bryn. She is now accompanied by Edgianin as kind of one of her, like, weird bodyguards. Mm-hmm. Egg's like, I just keep thinking of questions to ask her about the Shanshin. And we're like, okay, whatever. Surely Edgianin being in her vicinity will be important at some point. Otherwise, why did we go to all this trouble?
Yeah, allegedly.
But Edwin walks into the command tent, and Gareth Bryn has lit upon the idea of using gateways creatively. Yeah. Finally, one of the first 5 people to do so, and the first 4 were Andrel. But Gareth Bryn, he's like set up what is basically a viewing screen, which is just a hole in the tent. Mm-hmm. Edwina walks into it and plummets to her death, which would have been
pretty funny, actually.
Honestly iconic. Gareth Bryn's like, I accidentally killed the Amerlin seat because Whoopsies. I did not have proper safety equipment.
Yeah, is this OSHA compliant?
It Gareth does not Bryn? Seem... He's like, I sent Swan to get, like, a rope or something to put around it, but it's like, maybe you guys should have, like, a warning sign.
Yeah, or, like, a door or something in front of it.
Yeah, he's got Yukiri, one of the Aes Sedai, is doing this, and she's like, I've been thinking about, like, maybe I can change the weave somehow so that we can just see through it. We could, but it's, like, solid.
Yeah, we could stand on it.
Just like the Grand Canyon. And it's like, yeah, that's a great idea, because as it is, someone could theoretically shoot an arrow straight up and kill Gareth Bryn.
Yeah.
And so imagine looking up.
And here's Gareth
And
Bryn.
there's a hole in the sky, and an old man is looking down at you like a dad at a museum with his hands behind his back.
I would be like, God?
God?
Oh no.
The Trollocs are like, is this what God is?
This is the creator himself.
The creator is a middle-aged weirdo.
Middle-aged
Honestly,
white
it
man.
makes sense. That's what the Catholics have been telling us for years. So
The Catholics.
Anyway, Edwin like looks at Bryn's battle lines that he's created and is like, I think you should utilize the Aes Sedai more on the front lines and not just as a reserve force. And Bryn's like, that sounds great to me, I just didn't want to overstep. So that's that. Now we go to Matt, returning to Ebou Dar. He is in disguise, which for him just means that his hat is off and, you know, he's now got just like a bandage over his missing eye. The Matt point of view is as nightmarish as they all are, in that there is a quote-unquote joke in almost literally every paragraph.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know who told Brandon Sanderson that to have a funny character you need to do wordplay in literally every paragraph, but I wish they were dead.
Yeah, I don't wish good things upon them and their household.
That's not what comic relief is. But Matt enters Ebou Dar, which is obviously now under Shanshan occupation. He, of course, like everyone else, is like, here's how it's different under the Shanshan. It is cleaner and fewer knife fights, and wow, everyone just sure seems happy and delighted.
Yeah, it's the usual colonizer propaganda out of the Wheel of Time that there are some people, in this instance the Ebou Dari, who, for the record, happen to be brown. I think that's key. Who are just so unruly that they just do better if there's a firm hand governing them. And what the Shanshan, we've made this argument a million times, so I won't, waste much more breath on it, but the Shanshan are the firm, stern parent on Ebou Dar who are making everything better for them. Don't worry about the fact that there are still people who get hanged and beheaded. That's for the overall good of these people who just can't.
It's for law and order.
Yes.
President Nixon style. My fucking nemesis. We also get some, how shall we say, retroactive, some retconning here in terms of Matt's relationship to the city.
Yeah.
Where he's like, yeah, in retrospect, I actually feel like Ebou Dar is my second home, and being here was great, and Tylan was great, and our relationship was so fun. And you're like, what the fuck is happening?
And if you go back, let's flash back, freeze frame, rewind to A Crown of Swords.
You're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah. And it's just like Matt consistently suffering, being bullied, being abused, being starved, being mocked, getting into fights, being chased by dark friends. And he was not happy during any of that. He was consistently in the worst mental place we've seen him in the entire series.
I'm like, did we read the same book, Mazrim? Because
No.
it was not good for you. You were very unhappy.
Very depressed.
But I guess, as we've talked about before, Robert Jordan's sort of,
The cats are fighting over here on the floor.
Robert Jordan's sort of inability to pick a tone when it came to Matt and Ebou Dar, kind of constantly vacillating between, is it funny or is it horrendous?
Yeah.
Is not serving him here, because Brandon Sanderson has opted to not go with any of that sort of gray area and just be like, yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, Matt goes looking for a bar to find out the news in the city. He eventually goes to one where the bouncer at the door is a Shanshan. The owner of the bar, I guess, is an Ebou Dari woman. Matt finds out that they are married, so we have more of the, colonization, sort of, the colonizers come and intermarry with the population, and now it's like, well, we can't extricate them because some people are married now.
Yeah.
And we don't want to deal with the complicated issues of immigration.
Yeah.
But Matt, it's a silly conversation generally. But through it, Matt finds out that Tuon is facing multiple, like, assassination attempts. And Matt's, like, gets really weird and intense about it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna go save her. And this Shanshan bouncer is like, no, you don't understand. They're, like, not meant to succeed. It's just sort of like a Shanshan power play. It's this General Galgan, who we've seen in the past, who's just, like, exerting some of his... He's flexing a little. Being like, yeah, I can send people to kill you. They won't do it, but...
Yeah. I can.
Yeah.
And
Matt is like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go rescue her. Classic Wheel of Time man.
Yeah, and like,
shenanigans.
Say what you will about Tuon, she is at least not a woman who generally needs rescuing. She's the most powerful woman in this city.
Yeah.
And, again, for all of her faults and crimes against humanity, a very resourceful and capable woman. So Matt is...
Yeah, including being able to defend herself in hand-to-hand
Yeah,
combat.
like, she's an actual, like, trained physical fighter. So Matt is being... peak Wheel of Time misogyny here.
Peak paternalistic.
Yeah.
For sure. We then switch to Moiraine and Rand. They are on the Tarwin's Gap battlefield. Rand is like, I am going to go out and do some big channeling. Moiraine's like, that would be a mistake because you don't want to, like, overexert yourself before you have to go to Shale Goal. In fact, clock is ticking. Why don't we go to Shale Goal right now?
Yeah.
And Rand's like, no, I have to do this. And I, am sort of... This is a pretty typical Rand and Moiraine conversation in that Moiraine is advising Rand to do something and he's ignoring her.
Yeah.
But now Rand is capable of entrenching his stubbornness in, like, wellness language.
Yeah.
In quote-unquote wisdom. So it sounds less like they are doing the same old thing and more like... We're peers having a real conversation. It's still the same thing, though.
Yeah.
So that's annoying because Moiraine came back. You would hope that there would be some growth in their relationship, but clearly there hasn't been really.
No.
Rand goes out and does some big channeling like he did back at Meridon in the last book to rescue Iturald and his men, but eventually he is overpowered by the sheer volume of bad channelers who are creating circles to go against him. Rand's like, Tam, I'll kill you! And I'm like, should have killed him 6 books ago, my guy.
When everyone around you was like,
yeah.
Take him out.
You don't really get to scream someone's name when you hired them for a job, fully aware that on their resume was murder, evil, greasy hair,
scheming, plotting, villainous behaviors. He sent you his supervillain resume, and you said that's exactly what I need.
That's great. I love it. Sign off.
Cult leader, known narcissist,
known freak.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, Rand's like retreats, and then he's like, "That was a mistake," and Moiraine's like.
No way.
Looks directly into the camera. It's like, oh, was it?
No way, bestie.
Rand's
Why,
like,
yes.
I can't personally. Why, yes?
This is a Mike's Mike vocal tick. Why, yes?
Why, yes? Oh, he's so good. So Rand's like, well, I guess I can't personally win the last battle. And Moiraine's like...
And everyone on the battlefield is like, are you the stupidest man
alive? Did you think we were doing this for nothing?
Yeah.
What are we to you?
Like, why do you have armies if you thought you could personally come out here and just kill every member of the Shadow?
Then we see Brigitte fighting in Sherwood Forest.
In the woods.
It's kind of like a guerrilla warfare style thing going on. The Trollocs are now just sort of scattered throughout the woods and being attacked and cornered by various groups of people. And that's just the status quo at the moment. We get the usual stream of consciousness in Brigitte's point of view, which is her being stressed and worried about what it means to have been ripped out of the world of dreams instead of being reborn. And she's just like, will I even respond to the Horn of Valir? I wish I had someone to ask these questions to, but it's just me. And we're like, okay, that's... Damn, dude, that sucks.
Damn, bro.
Damn, bro.
I ain't reading all that.
I ain't reading all that, but good for you. Or, sorry that happened. Then we get Rand going into Teleron Riyadh, or rather one of his dream shards. Which he's like, this is just knowledge, secret knowledge that I learned from Luz Therin. Isn't it great? I can just have my fun meditation. It's like elf dreams in fucking D&D.
Yeah.
Elves don't sleep. They only dream.
I need you to stop saying odd shit.
Yeah, that's Rand right now. Anyway, while he's in his creepy dream, he's like, I've been infiltrated. So he goes and finds that Lanfear has crafted a little set piece wherein she's in a little pool of water drowning.
Yeah.
She's like, please help me. And Rand, to his credit, just kind of stands there watching this for like a minute.
Yeah.
And is like, can you cool it?
No, babe.
Hey, I need you to dial down the drama, like,
Yeah.
a little bit. And Lanfear's like, oh, fuck, that didn't work. And he's like, no.
And she's like, but I was wet in a
thin
white gown.
But I'm so wet
Yeah.
and horny.
Yeah.
And Rand's like, nope, it's not working anymore. I have learned from my mistakes. And girl, I'm just not that into you anymore.
Yeah.
And she's like, but we have so much history. We get like more about their relationship as Luz Therin and Mirren pre-Lanfear. You know, she was his girlfriend before he met his wife.
Yeah.
And that's the extent of their relationship. So the fact that she's still hung up on him is like...
A little pathetic.
Yeah, borderline unhinged and, you know, perhaps a little bit of a, like, male fantasy.
Yeah.
The hottest woman alive can't accept that you are happily married to someone else, so she's going to wreck her entire life about it.
Yeah.
Sort of like a power trip for men. I think they love to think that their ex-girlfriends are all crazy.
Yeah. I'm sorry I called you pathetic, Lanfear. You're just
It is,
trapped
like,
in a male
pathetic.
fantasy.
Yeah, but, you know, Lanfear's one of those characters who's like, you are so male fantasy
Yeah.
that you are pathetic.
Yeah.
It's just so sad.
Yeah. Just a view right into that psyche.
Anyway, Rand's like, why don't you prove to me that you're going to the good side if that's what you really want? You know, you just have to mind meld with me for a second or something. And she's like, I don't want to do that. And he's like, okay. But then he mind melds just to show her that he is absolutely no longer interested in her. And she's like, you didn't have to do that.
She's like, well, that was kind of mean.
Well, that was kind of hurtful.
Yeah, I didn't, when you did that, it made me feel bad.
He's like, well, yes.
Well, yes, that was the point.
So we've got, you know, our male power trip going on here in the background, but we also have, you know, the whole section is annoying for that reason. Anytime Lanfear appears, it's annoying. But we do have an attempt by the authors to be like, Rand has closure on this subplot that was kind of left hanging because Lanfear beefed it.
Yeah.
Sort of in the middle of their will they, won't they narrative. And it's like, well, if she just died, then that would have been closure of some kind. Rand hasn't been spending a whole lot of time thinking about Lanfear since she died. But her coming back, it is quite funny that she came back at the beginning of this book, you know, sort of reintroduced herself to Rand, and then, like, the next time he sees her, he's like, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's growth, baby.
Yeah, to kind of call back to what you said with Rand and Moiraine's relationship, we are seeing growth with Rand in this one instance, which is good. I hope that means we're trending in the right direction, but it's, in general, I feel like we're not seeing a lot of growth from him. I feel like he's still trapped in a lot of his old patterns, even after being enlightened, so this scene was kind of funny to me. I was like, okay, I guess this is
he has grown up a little bit, yeah.
The first, you know, domino that I hope we start to see Rand fully actualize, which in book 14, he better.
Yeah.
So.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, let's see it, Rand. I love it. I love for you to tell Lanfear off, because you have been so weird about her for so long.
Oh, God. From a, like, narrative standpoint, what this is also functioning as is signaling to us, the readers, that Rand is not going to have some final showdown with Lanfear.
Correct.
You know, that this is sort of it. Lanfear is not going to be one of the
big bads for Rand.
The big bads for Rand. But she's still floating around in this narrative.
Yeah.
She's still obsessed with Rand, but Rand is like, meh, so whatever interaction they're going to have is going to be one-sided.
Yeah, and it also, knowing what we've talked about with Perrin, this, like, gets her out of Rand's plot in order to put her more squarely in Perrin's plot, so it's serving that narrative function as well. She's sort of changing lanes there.
Speaking of Perrin, we see him also in the woods where everyone is hanging out, and he sort of out of nowhere goes to one of the wise ones, what's her name? Idara, who's been hanging out with him since several books ago. You know, she's just been one of his ale, I guess. Anyway, he's like, I need to ask you something. You know the world of dreams. And she's like, I'm familiar with the concept, yes.
Yeah.
He's like, I need to get there personally, bodily, not sleeping. And she's like, well, no. Shan't do that. It's evil. She's like, it corrupts your soul. If you die in the world of dreams, then you won't be reborn in the reincarnation cycle. Like, kind of like, I wish someone would make this comparison, but it's kind of like the reverse of what's happening to Birgitte, you know? And what's happening to Birgitte is pretty unambiguously not a good thing. Mm-hmm. We may not call it evil necessarily, but what Perrin is opting to do is also definitely not good for him.
Yes.
Perrin's reasoning is that he absolutely has to fight Slayer. This is kind of out of nowhere because Perrin and Slayer sort of had their interaction at the end of Towers of Midnight, and then I guess just because we haven't had many Perrin points of view since then, it's been kind of like, what makes you think he's still out there, you know?
Yeah.
That he definitely needs to be defeated. So, and it's like the last battle is going on currently. It seems like you have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, than this freak who hasn't bugged you in a while.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, sure, I guess. But Perrin's like, please tell me how to do that, because that's how Slayer is so much more powerful than me in the world of dreams, because he's there in the flesh. And I need to be able to match him. And Adara's like, no. And Perrin's like, rats.
Shoot.
Ends that interaction. Next, we get Edwin actually on the front lines in the battle at Kandor, and this is just straightforwardly like, here's what the Aes Sedai are doing to fight. They do big channeling. They all have Angreal, Sangreal. It is Trolloc meat grinder, one might say. But it's not really characterized that way as, like, the horrors of war. They're, like, dudes throwing up, and all the Aes Sedai are just like, yeah, all in a day's work. And I'm like, I don't believe that.
Yeah, like, the Aes Sedai don't fight. You guys might remember that one of the 3 oaths is to not fight, effectively.
I don't believe most of these Aes Sedai have experience with, like, blowing limbs off.
Yeah, and just, like, piles of, you know, mutilated bodies, blood and guts, and other human fluid, or Trolloc fluids, flying around. Like, it would smell disgusting. It would look disgusting. And it would just be, like, viscerally upsetting. But Aes Sedai are so, like, cool girl that they're like, the horrors of war are nothing to me. And it's like, that's not a good thing, actually.
No, that's incredibly weird. Like, I do believe it of Edwin because she has been in incredibly violent situations. That she would be, like, pretty cool-headed about this.
Yeah.
But, you know, some of these other Aes Sedai, I'm like, they're not fucking fainting away.
Yeah, they can faint when Egg gets war powers, but no one's fainting at this.
It is a little ridiculous.
It's whatever. It's fine. It's just like, not to take the side of the Trollocs, but it is unfortunate that everyone's just like, this goes back to the perpetual thing in fantasy where you have the orcs, you have the Trollocs, you have some sort of faceless horde of monsters, so we don't have to feel bad about killing them because they are so far from human that it's not like we're facing off against an army of other people. But it's just like, I think, really depressing and heartless that nobody is like, these are creatures, and it kind of is horrendous what we just did to them.
Yeah, they are living creatures, so that's fucked up.
Yeah,
You know?
like, where's your respect for... Sorry to draw this comparison. We're watching Dungeon Meshi, Delicious in Dungeon, which is doing, like, really interesting things about what it means to be in harmony with an ecosystem, even when the ecosystem is inherently violent, like a dungeon.
Out to get you.
And I think it's just been such an interesting meditation on, like, the value of lives that might not have any inherent value to you. They are eating all the monsters, so they do have some value to the main characters. But I just think about... that take has been really interesting to see out of a fantasy text, like some actual respect for
Life
generally, and the monsters that we kill. So
yeah, it is incredibly interesting, and the like idea that we're killing and eating monsters, but bigger monsters will kill and eat us, and we are therefore still part of a sustainable ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly. We are part of the chain. We're not breaking the chain. So
really interesting.
It's a good little show and incredibly funny.
Yeah, highly recommend. The dub also is very good if you are not a
subtitled anime
person, so you have our recommendation.
Oh, you're so cringe.
Oh, you're so cringe. Incredible. We get an Elaine point of view, meeting with her advisors and generals, Bashir primarily, who updates her on, like, okay, they have been fully pushed out of Tarwin's Gap. Now the retreat becomes more complicated because they're going to encounter cities, and they decide, okay, we're going to evacuate populations and burn cities as is required, so that the Trollocs can't just post up and have fortifications. Meanwhile, they of course are struggling in the woods generally, and Bashir's recommendation is that they like leave the woods and retreat. You know, he has all these little strategic stopgaps along the way, but generally retreat in the direction of Cairhien. And Elaine's like, this is really frustrating because the initial plan was we're going to just eradicate the forces in Camelin, coming from Camelin, and then we can split our forces to back up the other battle fronts, but that is not happening and clearly is not going to happen. And Bashir's like, yep, that's war, baby, it sucks. So Elaine's like, okay, I guess that's what we have to do. Then we go back to Perrin, who is talking to Tam. And he's like, they're like talking about the new plan. And Perrin's like, yeah, kind of sucks. Good luck with it, Tam. And Tam's like, excuse me? And Perrin's like, yeah, you're in charge now. And Tam's like, no, I'm not. And Perrin's like, I am promoting you. And then he promotes him in front of everyone, so Tam can't, he's like, no takesies backsies. You're general now. Tam's like, I hate this.
Yeah.
And I hate you, you bastard.
That was exactly how I got promoted, by the way. Not in a forest. But
with dead Trollocs.
With dead Trollocs around me, yeah, my boss was like, you're in charge now, and
no takesy backsies.
No takesy backsies is 100% what happened. Metaphorically, it felt like I was in a forest surrounded by dead Trolloc bodies. That's what it's like working in local government.
I'm sorry. You and Tam Althor. Under incompetent leadership, aka Elaine. Anyway, Perrin's like, sorry guys, I gotta leave. So he gets Niald to make him a gateway to the Fields of Marilor so he can go find Rand. Everyone's like, bye. But then, he, like, so Perrin's about to leave when Dane Bornhald, trots up to him and is like, I just need to wreck your life real quick. Perrin's like, great. And Bornhald is like, I just need you to know that it was not Trollocs who killed your family. It was actually White Cloaks under command of Padan Fain. Perrin's like, okay, thank you so much for this information that I can do nothing about.
Did he say it was White Cloaks? Did I miss that? I thought it was Ordeath, Padan Fain himself. Am I an idiot?
He says, it was Ordeath, your father insulted him. He tore apart the family and we blamed the Trollocs. So, It's not necessarily White Cloaks personally, but more that they stood by.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it wasn't like Padan Fain. You're correct, I mischaracterized that. Padan Fain didn't, like, order the White Cloaks to kill Perrin's family. It seems that Padan Fain personally killed most of the family, which is wild, because there were, like, 20 of them.
Yeah.
And the White Cloaks were just like, ooh, that was fucked up. Better blame the Trollocs instead of admitting that we have Jack the Ripper in a position of authority over us.
As if everyone in the White Cloaks isn't Jack the Ripper. Maybe not quite that violent, but...
Perrin is like, okay, I am not going to deal with this right now.
Yes, which is a totally fair use of compartmentalization, but it was cracking me up earlier when Perrin was like, I've already dealt with this. I did a lot of processing about my family's murder.
You what?
And I was like, literally, when did you do that? There was one scene where you cried into
You kind of broke
boobs.
down once, and then we're like...
That is all it takes to heal grief.
That sucked, you know? No sort of ups and downs in the grief cycle.
One breakdown.
One down, and then it's all uphill from there, baby.
Yeah, so,
yeah, that is incredibly wild. He's like, Perrin's like, I'll have to reprocess some other time. And I'm like, what will you do? Shed a single tear?
Shed one tear. Be like, it's so sad that that man killed all 27 members of my family.
All 58 members of my family slain at the hands of Padan Fain.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It's not like I ever knew their names or thought about them at all in the narrative. I don't know a single member of Perrin's family.
Yeah. So this is wild from, speaking of setting up villains
Yeah.
to be in contrast to our heroes. This is wild because narratively it's setting up now Perrin to have some sort of vengeance arc against Padan Fain. Padan Fain has had minimal interactions with Perrin in the series. You know, there was that sort of intersecting moment in the Two Rivers, but I don't believe they ever even came face to face in that era. Primarily, Padan Fain has been out to get Rand. Mm-hmm. He also has a connection to Matt via the dagger that they both used, so having it kind of be like, we're setting up a Perrin v. Padan Fain thing is kind of wild. Perrin v. Lanfear is also kind of wild.
Yeah, it feels like we're foisting off inconvenient villains onto Perrin, because there's not really a whole lot else for him to do.
Yeah, Perrin had not a good, but a very complete arc throughout the series, ending with his creation of the magical hammer. You know, that was a very sort of apotheosis moment.
Yes.
And so, yeah, Perrin has very little to do here.
Yeah.
So I guess we're throwing him into the world of dreams to hunt Slayer, a villain who should have been defeated long ago.
Yeah.
And also Lanfear and also Padan Fain. Maybe.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that.
Okay, I will, I guess.
You have no choice.
Rats.
Perrin's like, bye, Bornhald. Every single one of our interactions has been stellar. Love this ongoing affair of ours. But he goes to the Fields of Marilor, accompanied by Gaul, who's like, I am your sidekick 100p of the time. And Perrin's like, good to have you, buddy. And I'm like, I wish Gaul was in charge of this story.
I know. Gaul is so gorgeous and hot and sexy, and I wish he was my boyfriend, not Perrin's boyfriend. It's a little rude.
Perrin doesn't deserve him.
That Perrin gets the best character in the series, but it is incredibly iconic that Gaul is the most ride-or-die character of all time.
Yeah, Gaul's like, you saved me from that cage, and now we're attached to the hip. We're kissing with tongue.
Yeah.
And also, I will go where you go. I wish I could cite the Bible scripture.
What, 1 Corinthians? Love is kind.
No, the one with fucking Ruth and Naomi. I grew up Christian! I know what I'm talking about. Everyone shut up.
No, I grew up a heathen, so I don't know.
Entreat me not to leave you or to turn back from following after you, for wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God. That's Gaul.
Yeah.
And it's hot.
And
Yeah.
it's hot.
I'm not gonna lie.
I want a man that dedicated to me.
Gaul is the sexiest motherfucker out here. Anyway, Perrin and Gaul go to the Fields of Marilor, track down someone who tells them where Rand is. He's apparently just, like, sort of near Shale Goal, surveying the wilderness.
Yeah, they're doing reconnaissance.
Yeah. But Perrin goes there, there's, like, Katsuan, Moiraine, Nynaeve are all standing around. Perrin's like, hey, guys.
The meanest women, you know?
Perrin's like, hey, I have to talk to Rand real quick in private. And Rand's like, hey, what's up, dude? And Perrin's like, I have to do a sacrilegious thing. And Rand's like, I love that.
And Rand's like, cool.
Tell me more about
I
it.
love doing those.
Okay. He's like, ooh, sexy. Perrin's like, I need you to put me in the world of dreams for realsies. And Rand's like, I gotta tell you, bud, not great. And Perrin's like, I know, but you're the only person I can trust to be stupid enough to do it for me.
Yeah.
And Rand's like, you got me there, so good luck out there, I guess. Perrin, they arrange for one of the Ashaman to, like, open a gateway so that he and Gaul can leave at some point. Perrin also mentions to Rand, he's like, I think there's something happening in Teleron Riad that is related to the Black Tower. We, of course, know he's correct, but that's a pretty wild leap of logic.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had Perrin, like, hearing the news that there is no traveling in the Black Tower. Presumably Rand has tried to send people to travel there, and that's how he knows, but we're kind of missing the links between those two.
Yeah.
Points A and B. And Rand and Perrin hug. Perrin's like, I guess this is goodbye, you know? You're going to Shale Goal next. Rand's like, yep, see ya, dog.
Yeah, this is so funny, too, because Perrin tells Tam earlier, he's like, I have to leave because I have to be there to support Rand. And then he just immediately is like, I'm supporting you by being so far away from you on an entirely another plane of existence.
Yeah, Perrin has cited, like, I feel the Taviran, like, tugging that our characters have so often mentioned of, like, Rand needs me.
Mm-hmm.
And so really we're just, like, getting not a lot of setup here in terms of what Perrin is doing and why he is making this decision, which is wild primarily because it's Perrin.
Yeah.
Who overanalyzes everything, thinks things through very thoroughly before taking any action.
Yeah.
And I understand that the authors had sort of limited page space, as always, trying to nail out an entire finale with so many plots to wrap up in just 909 pages, you know? But also, maybe you could have cut back on all the Lan death talk in order to focus on, like, Perrin making this decision, or even, you know, because I know from reading the book that Perrin doing stuff in Teleron Riad is related to protecting Rand.
Sure.
Ultimately, that is where Rand needs him to be.
Right.
But, like, what instinct is telling Perrin this?
Yeah,
You know?
like, he doesn't even say beyond Rand needs me that there's any instinct drawing him or Taviran pulled to the world of dreams. It's just like, Rand needs me, and I'm making this unbelievably weird intuitive leap that means killing Slayer.
Yeah, Rand needs me. I hate Slayer. Therefore, world of dreams physically?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, guys, this equation is not adding
2
up.
2 = 94.
What? 94 dead family members. The other absolutely wild and out of character thing here is that Fail is not mentioned once.
Gaul is his wife in this book.
You're right, but Perrin is like, I am going on a suicide mission.
Yeah.
World of Dreams, no mention of Fail.
There's no my bossy wife.
Yeah, are they interacting?
Where
it seems
is
like
she?
They just parted.
Yeah.
We're getting all of these long Rand parting with his various girlfriends scenes.
Yeah.
Gotta have date night with Elaine. Gotta fuck Avienda and get her pregnant. Blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, okay, I guess Perrin and Fail have said everything they need to say.
Yeah, Fail's off getting the Horn of Valir, I guess. But we don't know that.
Or something.
I don't know.
It's just wild for Perrin to...
Yeah.
They're so codependent that it's like, how can he not be in the same room as her and be normal?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
But that's those 3 chapters. That's what we read.
Yeah, I just need to restate again that I think it is so sexy and cool and gorgeous and hot and wonderful that Gaul is like, I too will commit a sacrilegious atrocity.
Yeah.
For no reason
It's
at all.
unclear how much Gaul realizes that this is a sacrilegious atrocity.
He probably doesn't know at all.
Perrin's like, I'm doing necromancy. And Gaul, a guy who's never heard of necromancy, is like, sounds great.
Okay.
What do you need help with?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Gaul,
And you're like,
you sweet idiot.
you beautiful, gorgeous dummy. Never change.
Love you so much.
Oh, he's perfect.
Uh-huh. Next on the docket is going to be Perrin and Gaul in Teleron Riyadh. That's sort of like initial sequence.
Slay.
Interacting with Androl in the Black Tower. You know, Perrin's like, I gotta go do stuff in the Black Tower. Androl's stuck in basement time, so that's what we've got to do.
Androl's stuck in basement time.
Yep, basement time with Androl. So how will we get him out of that damn basement? Then we will have an unfortunately sort of long chapter with Matt getting into the palace to find Tuon. But I hope with that to finally just air all our grievances with Matt and Tuon and
Be done.
They'll still be interacting throughout the rest of the book, but let's just get it all out there.
Let's just get it all out there in one incredibly negative bummer episode.
Yeah, and then say, every time it comes up in the past, be like, please see episode 288.
Yep. You're probably gonna have a spray bottle here to remind me not to complain about them because they will piss me off every time.
They're pretty
But
bad.
yeah, we will prepare next time to be in the hater zone. Mm-hmm. This will be the hater zone.
Oh, and Rand will have a pleasant chat with his dad.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I liked him.
So a more normal conversation after the last one they had on screen.
Sure.
Where Rand almost killed him.
You know.
So just some normal stuff.
Almost killed Papa. RIP.
Almost killed Papa. But that's what's up. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks to Glenn and Mackenzie for our theme song. Thanks to our patrons on Patreon and our followers on social media.
Hell yeah, baby.
Anything to add?
I don't believe so.
Okay, do you have a sign off?
Yeah, this one comes from my friend Brianna. She did not submit it as a sign off, but she was telling me this. You guys know Holes, the most iconic movie of all time.
Yeah, of course.
Has that.
Of
Yeah,
course.
exactly. Yes, of course. Why yes?
Why, yes.
Has that incredibly iconic scene where Sigourney Weaver as a child is digging holes and she says, "I'm tired of this, Grandpa," you know? And
That's too damn bad.
Yeah, exactly. Brianna was at work the other day and she has a lot of coworkers who are like our age, so, you know, late 20s, early 30s. And she said she was doing something and she said, "I'm tired of this, Grandpa," the way people do. And almost everyone else in the room said back, "That's too damn bad," you know? And one of her colleagues, who I think is younger, was like, "Haha, it's so funny that you guys know that internet meme." And everyone in the room was like, "It's not a meme."
What the fuck are you talking about?
And she's like, "You guys only know that because it's famous on the internet." And they were like, "No, we know that from Holes, the best movie of all time." And this coworker just like refused to be like, "No, you guys stop lying, like you know it from the internet, like Holes is not that iconic of a movie," or something like that. And everyone was like, "Child."
Holes was that iconic
I
of a
know!
movie.
Holes is everything to me.
God, we like watch it regularly.
It's
in our cycle.
A good movie. It's such a good movie. So for this disrespectful,
If
uncultured,
you young whippersnaps haven't seen Holes, go watch it. It holds up. It's an indictment
really
of the prison industrial complex.
hell yeah, baby.
It's an indictment of racism.
Yep.
You know, has a powerful feminist message.
I need Kissing Kate Barlow to shoot and kiss me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, who doesn't? And just some great characters overall.
It's so good when Dule Hill.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
He's so sexy in
I
that
can
movie.
fix that.
I know. It's just
Shut up.
Everyone's screaming. I'm twirling my hair, kicking my feet. He's so.
Okay, everyone. Go watch Holes.
It's so good. I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Bye.